Shawshank Redemption 1994 is not just a movie, but also an immortal legacy of cinematic art. This masterpiece tells a poignant story about friendship, the desire for freedom, and the extraordinary power of hope. Timeless values that transcend all limits of time. Based on a short novel by Stephen King, the film not only won over fans but also established itself as a monument in the history of cinema, loved by millions of audiences worldwide.
That's it. You fight. Better than.
I like that.
No! No! Help!
Or maybe I just don't want to.
However, few people know that behind the film's perfection are surprising behind-the-scenes stories, subtle hidden details, and the harsh challenges the crew had to overcome. From how Andy faced the sisters, the breathtaking moment he crawled through a sewage pipe full of waste, to the eerie setting at the Ohio State Reformatory Prison, rumoured to be haunted, everything was realistically and artistically recreated. Director Frank Darabont showcased his outstanding talent by using lighting, sound, and camera angles to convey powerful emotions instead of relying on direct violence. This subtlety elevated The Shawshank Redemption far beyond the limits of an ordinary movie, turning it into a timeless masterpiece that leaves a profound impression on audiences across generations. Let's explore 20 interesting and surprising facts about this classic film. Behind-the-scenes details you might not have known. 1. The sewage pipe scene.
Or maybe I just don't want to.
The moment Andy crawled through a sewage pipe full of waste to find freedom is one of the most memorable scenes in The Shawshank Redemption. But few people know that shooting this scene was a major challenge for the entire film crew. The sewage pipe was built to be about 150 meters long, filled with real cow manure to simulate waste. Tim Robbins, who played Andy, did not use a stunt double and performed the scene himself. He had to crawl through dozens of times under scorching lights in a narrow, suffocating space. To create the effect of smoke rising from the pipe, the crew used chocolate milk, but the stench from the real cow manure made the atmosphere unbearably disgusting. Tim Robbins later shared that he had to hold his breath in many segments to avoid vomiting. The filming lasted for hours, exhausting the entire crew, but the final result produced one of the most iconic moments in cinematic history. 2. A violent scene was cut.
That's it. You fight. Better that way.
The group, the sisters in the film, represents the brutality and danger of prison life. Initially, the scene where Andy was attacked by this group was filmed in great detail and shown directly. However, to avoid being rated NC-17, prohibited for audiences under 17, director Frank Darabont decided to significantly cut these scenes. Instead of showing violence, Darabont used dim lighting, eerie sounds, and the characters' expressions to suggest the horror. The suffocating atmosphere, cold lighting, and Andy's helplessness was still enough to make the audience feel the cruelty without needing to see too much. Even after being edited, this remains one of the film's heaviest scenes, vividly portraying the harshness of prison life and Andy Dufresne's extraordinary willpower. 3. The bathroom attack scene.
I like that.
One of the most intense scenes in the film is when Andy is attacked by the sisters in the bathroom. Initially, this scene was shot in great detail and directly, but to avoid an NC-17 rating, prohibiting viewers under 17, director Frank Darabont had to significantly reduce it. Dim lighting, indirect camera angles, and sound effects were used to suggest rather than directly depict the violence. This approach not only helped the film maintain an R rating not suitable for children under 17 without adult supervision, but also made the scene even more haunting. The silence and fear in Andy's eyes allow the audience to feel his helplessness without needing to see the horrific events. This is an excellent example of how a director uses storytelling art to convey emotions without excessive display. 4. The Shawshank prison is rumoured to be haunted. The Ohio State Reformatory, where The Shawshank Redemption was filmed, is not just a set, but a real prison with a bloody history. Built in 1896, it was officially closed in 1990, just 4 years before the film crew arrived. During its operation, the prison witnessed numerous riots, inmate deaths, and harsh detention conditions that earned it the nickname Hell on Earth. After the film became famous, the prison turned into a tourist attraction, drawing thousands of fans as well as ghost hunting groups. Many visitors claimed to have heard mysterious voices, felt unusual cold drafts, or even seen ghosts wandering the dark hallways. Areas such as solitary confinement, the chapel and the hole, where Andy was held, are said to be the most haunted. 5. The film was a box office flop. When The Shawshank Redemption was released in 1994, it earned only $16 million at the box office, less than half of its production cost. This was not because the film was bad, but because it had to compete with giants like Forrest Gump and Pulp Fiction. Additionally, the original title, Rita Hayworth and Shawshank Redemption, caused major confusion, with many thinking it was a biographical film about the actress Rita Hayworth. The result? The film sank amidst other blockbusters and was nearly forgotten after leaving theatres. But a miracle happened when the film was released on home video and aired on television. Thanks to word of mouth, Shawshank gradually became a phenomenon. The inspiring story of friendship and hope overcoming adversity touched the hearts of millions. TNT repeatedly aired the film, making it a must-watch by the late 90s. 6. Stephen King sold the script rights for $5,000. Stephen King, author of the original novella Rita Hayworth and Shawshank Redemption, sold the adaptation rights to director Frank Darabont for just $5,000. This was an incredibly low price, especially compared to the film's later value. However, King was not concerned about money in this case. He had absolute faith in Darabont's talent and wanted to give the young director a chance to make his debut work. Interestingly, King never cashed the check. Instead, he framed it and sent it back to Darabont with a humorous note, "In case you need bail money." This gesture not only shows King's humour, but also symbolises the trust and respect between him and Darabont. Today, The Shawshank Redemption has become one of the most successful adaptations of Stephen King's works, proving that sometimes trust and passion are more important than material gain. 7. Morgan Freeman injured his shoulder because of a baseball.
I'm Andy Dufresne.
Wife-killing banker.
The scene where Red plays catch in the prison yard seems light-hearted, but it was actually one of the most challenging experiences for Morgan Freeman. To complete this scene, the crew had to film continuously for 9 hours. Freeman had to perform the throwing and catching motions hundreds of times, leading to a severe shoulder injury. The next day, he appeared on set with his arm in a sling, unable to move it. Freeman, known for his professionalism and patience, endured the pain without complaint, understanding that director Frank Darabont was a perfectionist who wanted every detail in the film to be flawless. 8. The director acted as Andy's hands. In close-up shots of Andy carving his name on the wall or loading a gun, the hands shown on screen are not Tim Robbins, but director Frank Darabont's. Darabont wanted to personally perform these scenes to ensure absolute accuracy. The director not only oversaw every detail, but also practiced how to hold the tools in a way that looked authentic to how a prisoner in the 1940s would work. The close-up shot of loading the gun was also meticulously done by Darabont, as he wanted to reflect the character's psychological state in every frame. 9. The iconic oak tree. The oak tree where Andy leaves a message for Red is not just a setting in the film, but a symbol of friendship and hope. Located in a peaceful field in Ohio, the tree became a popular tourist attraction after the film's release. However, in 2011, a major storm struck the tree, breaking part of its trunk. By 2016, the oak completely collapsed after another strong windstorm, leaving fans around the world saddened. Pieces of the tree were repurposed by locals into souvenirs such as keychains, pens, and even furniture, preserving a part of the film's memory. 10. Morgan Freeman's son appeared in the film. Alfonso Freeman. Morgan Freeman's son had a small but memorable role in the Shawshank Redemption. He appeared in the scene where new prisoners enter Shawshank and yelled, "Fresh fish. Fresh fish today," a symbolic line welcoming newcomers to the prison. Additionally, the photos of young Red seen during the parole hearings are actually pictures of Alfonso. This appearance was not a coincidence. Alfonso wanted to be part of the biggest project in his father's career, and his cameo became a fun Easter egg for attentive viewers. The resemblance between Alfonso and Morgan Freeman is so striking that many viewers didn't realize they were two different people. 11. The iconic rain scene almost didn't happen. The scene where Andy stretches his arms to embrace the rain after escaping prison is one of the most iconic moments in cinematic history. However, this scene was nearly ruined due to technical issues. During filming, many shots were out of focus or failed to meet expectations, forcing the crew to reshoot multiple times. The weather also didn't cooperate, as artificial rain was blown away by the wind, failing to create the desired effect. When everything was finally ready, the crew had only enough time and budget for one last take. Fortunately, the final shot was perfect, and it became one of the film's most valuable moments. 12. The film didn't win any Oscars. When Frank Darabont submitted the screenplay for The Shawshank Redemption to Castle Rock Entertainment, not everyone believed that a prison movie could succeed. This genre didn't appeal to mass audiences, and investing in a director with no major film experience like Darabont was considered a gamble. However, producer Liz Glotzer saw enormous potential in the script. Glotzer loved the screenplay so much that she threatened to quit if the studio didn't agree to produce it. Her determination convinced Castle Rock, and the project was greenlit. Glotzer not only played a key role in bringing the film to life, but also became one of Darabont's biggest supporters throughout production. The result? The film became a masterpiece, proving that sometimes believing in something unconventional can lead to greatness. 13. The original title caused confusion. The film's original title, Rita Hayworth and Shawshank Redemption, was inspired by Stephen King's novella of the same name. However, this title caused significant confusion. When the script was sent to studios and casting agencies, many thought it was a biographical film about Hollywood star Rita Hayworth. Director Frank Darabont even received numerous applications from actresses wanting to play Rita Hayworth. Some top models at the time called Darabont, directly insisting they were perfect for the role. This forced the filmmakers to shorten the title and remove Rita Hayworth's name to avoid unnecessary misunderstandings. Despite this, Rita Hayworth still plays a significant role in the film. Her poster is used by Andy to conceal the tunnel he dug, an iconic detail symbolizing freedom and hope. 14. Sidney Poitier declined the role of Red. Before Morgan Freeman was cast as Red, the role was initially offered to Sidney Poitier, a legendary actor, and the first black man to win the Oscar for Best Actor. However, Poitier declined the role, feeling that playing a prisoner did not align with the image and values he wanted to uphold. Morgan Freeman was eventually chosen, and it turned out to be a historic decision. His portrayal of Red became iconic, adding a layer of depth and emotional resonance to the film. The line, "Maybe it's because I'm Irish," a clever joke about the difference between the character in the novella and the film, was added to reflect this change. While Poitier missed out on the opportunity, Freeman turned Red into a career-defining role, and audiences cannot imagine anyone else in the part. 15. Many big stars were considered for the role of Andy. The role of Andy Dufresne, the central character of The Shawshank Redemption, was highly sought after by numerous Hollywood stars. Names such as Tom Hanks, Tom Cruise, Johnny Depp, Nicolas Cage, Kevin Costner, and even Charlie Sheen were either offered or expressed interest in the role. Tom Hanks declined because he was busy filming Forrest Gump, which won him an Oscar. Kevin Costner loved the script but was tied up with Waterworld. Ultimately, the role went to Tim Robbins, who was not a big name at the time, but fit the character perfectly. Robbins brought a calm, intelligent, and patient demeanour to Andy, making the character shine as a symbol of determination and the pursuit of freedom. While other stars might have done well, Tim Robbins was the perfect choice for Andy. 16. The prison he almost caught fire during filming. While filming at the Ohio State Reformatory, a dangerous incident nearly disrupted the production. To create natural lighting effects for interior shots, the crew used large sheets of plastic to cover the windows and placed lights behind them. During a break, a crew member noticed that one of the lights had overheated and sparked a fire on the plastic sheeting. The fire spread quickly, and if it hadn't been extinguished in time, the entire prison could have burned down. The incident was a close call, but thankfully no one was injured and the set wasn't significantly damaged. 17. The library scene in the film was entirely built. The library is one of the most important spaces in The Shawshank Redemption, where Andy begins his work to reform the prison and inspire hope among inmates. However, the library didn't exist in the Ohio State Reformatory. The crew built the entire set from scratch. The library was meticulously designed to look like a space that could have existed in the 1940s. The shelves were filled with real books, and the furniture was carefully chosen to create a vintage feel. This attention to detail made the space vibrant and authentic, giving the impression that it was a genuine sanctuary for the inmates. The library became a symbol of knowledge and transformation, a place where Andy planted the seeds of hope for those who seemed to have lost all faith. 18. The director drew inspiration from Goodfellas to edit the film. Although Frank Darabont was a novice director when making The Shawshank Redemption, he wisely found inspiration from classic films. One of his biggest influences was Goodfellas 1990 by Martin Scorsese. During production, Darabont rewatched Goodfellas weekly to study its use of narration and editing to convey the passage of time. Much like how Goodfellas used narration to tell Henry Hill's story, Shawshank used Morgan Freeman's rich voice to guide viewers through Andy and Red's journey. Darabont also paid attention to Scorsese's pacing. Despite Shawshank running nearly 2.5 hours, it never feels slow thanks to careful editing. Each scene has a clear purpose, creating a seamless and engaging narrative from start to finish. By blending inspiration from Goodfellas with his own vision, Darabont created a masterpiece. This demonstrates how learning from masters can help craft something truly unique. 19. Red's cell number is an Easter egg about Stephen King. Stephen King, the author of the original novella, is known for including small details that connect his works. The Shawshank Redemption is no exception. In the film, Red's prison number is 237, a number familiar to fans of King's stories. The number 237 first appeared in The Shining 1980 as the room number in the Overlook Hotel where horrifying events occurred. Since then, 237 has become a recurring symbol in King's works, often serving as a mysterious Easter egg for devoted fans. Although The Shawshank Redemption is not a horror film, the inclusion of 237 adds a subtle connection to King's broader universe, delighting fans who recognize the reference. 20. The film didn't win any Oscars. The Shawshank Redemption received 7 Oscar nominations at the 1995 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, Best Actor Morgan Freeman, and Best Adapted Screenplay. However, it didn't win a single award. The main reason was the intense competition that year. Forrest Gump, starring Tom Hanks, swept the awards, including Best Picture and Best Actor. Meanwhile, Pulp Fiction by Quentin Tarantino won Best Original Screenplay, leaving Shawshank overshadowed. Despite not winning, The Shawshank Redemption became a winner in the hearts of audiences. Over time, it grew into a cultural phenomenon and is now ranked number 1 on IMDb with a score of 9.3, surpassing even The Godfather. This proves that awards aren't everything. The Shawshank Redemption is not just a film, but an emotional journey, a timeless story. From production challenges and hidden details to lessons about perseverance and hope, the film has left an enduring mark on audiences worldwide. If you love The Shawshank Redemption, rewatch it to uncover more fascinating details hidden in every frame. Sometimes, masterpieces are not only made by the stories on screen, but also by the meaningful and inspiring stories behind the scenes.